Stipple.
Come on, won't you say it loud? Ayo, we gon' turn this out. Tom Clock's main event. Dropkick now and powerbomb. Ayo, bro, let's bring this on. Hey, hey, what is up? Oh, captain, my captain, show the stuff. Power slammer, suplex 2. Hot garbage is just for you. Big breaker, cut a cold red. Figure 4, hot times ahead. Since 2014, it's on. It's a 10 count, but stand up strong. Hey kid, no DQ, strong style. Chop, this is how it goes. Tom Clock's main event. Tom Clock's main event. Tom Clock's main event. Tom Clock's main event.
Hey, what's up, kids? Welcome back to the program. And right away, I've screwed it up. There we go. Hey, it's been a hot minute. How's everybody doing out there? This is Tom Clark's main event. I'm looking very red right now. I look like I've been out in the sun. Trust me, I have not. You want to know why? Because I blister. Wither, blister, burn, and peel. I did an update. Now suddenly I'm looking like this. So it would be nothing if we didn't have some kind of technical difficulties, right? Hey, it's been like 5 minutes since we've been here. How's everybody doing? The last time we were live on the main event was December 1st, kids. December 1st. It's been a while. I took a nap. I don't know what to tell you. I slept later than I expected. But I've got people here. They're ready to roll. We're going to get some things happening here on the screen. We've got the ticker ticking. I'm a little washed out, but I've got Jimmy on my shirt. I'm ready to roll. And we're going to preview AEW Double or Nothing. I'm not going to keep my guests waiting a whole very much longer here, but really quickly, we've got a bunch of you folks saying hello, and I appreciate you one and all. Let me tell you guys, right up front, means a lot to me that you guys are hanging out, coming back again now after all this time. Thank you. I've had multiple messages. I even had some emails, folks asking when the show was returning. We are back, as you can see. So again, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. I do very much appreciate it. And again, kids, if you will, smash the like button. Haven't you missed that? Shut up. You know you have. Smash the like button. Share this on your feed. Share it with your friends, your enemies, your casual acquaintances, and everyone in between. I would very much appreciate it. And again, thanks so much for being here. Let's go ahead and get this thing kicked off, and then we're going to start addressing everybody here in the crowd and saying hello and that kind of thing and waving to the good people out there. So let's go ahead and get this thing kicked off if we can here. First up to bat, Mr. Christopher Ray Patton. Chris, welcome back to the show, my friend. How are you?
Good. Happy to be here, man. It's been way too long. I missed your show.
I know, man. It's been a while, right? It's been a long time, but appreciate you hanging in there and for coming on. And from Two Nations podcast here today, and that's the only thing he does. It's the only thing you need to know about. I'm totally kidding. Yeah, this is Jay Love, kids. What's up, Jay? How are you?
I'm not bad. It's quite late here, so I'm
a little
bit tired. I'll try and stay awake throughout.
Jay's wiped out, as is Joe Higgens. He's here with us today, too. Joe, how are you, my friend?
Oh, fine. Again, it's very late here. And I just have to spend $1,500 on a new couch as mine's just exploded. So that's a fun day.
You spent $1,500 on a couch? My goodness.
Yeah. I like a big long couch that I can sleep on. So that's mine, which means I can't go all in now because that was my spending money gone.
I rescued my couch from a street corner. There's rats living in it. I don't know. I'm on a budget over here. So
No.
we can't all have money like Phil. What's up, Phil? How are you, dude? Welcome to the show.
It did just occur to me, but has Cameron Grimes been gone since your show is away?
He has. The button is over.
It's obsolete.
It's obsolete. It is obsolete. Yeah. Isn't that something?
Yeah. Hopefully Trevor lands on his feet. I'm sure he will. Very talented guy.
He is. He'll be fine. Yeah, no doubt about it. So, Chris actually brought that up before we went live here today. Well, kids, thanks so much again for hanging out with us today. I do appreciate it. Thank you guys for being on the show. It means a lot to me. Hopefully you guys all saw your handsome faces in the intro to the show there. I decided to put everybody in the intro that I've ever had on the show. It's a whole lot of Tom. Man, it's a whole lot of Tom. But I'm kind of the host in this thing, so I kind of had to be there. But I wanted to put all you guys in there as well. So hopefully everybody liked the music. That was me on the vocals. You don't believe that, do you? You don't believe that, do you? You shouldn't believe that.
No.
I don't sound that good. So Let's go ahead and say some hellos here before we get to the main thrust of the show. Eric Jackson is the first one at the table. How you doing, my friend Sugar Shane? What's going on? Jumpin' Jeff is back. What's up, E? How are you doing? Thank you, my friend, very much. Excuse me. Josh just called me Tommy. Josh, you are banned from the show. Get out of my life. Man, really? We're going to start the show off like that? Tommy? Not since I was 15, brother. What's up, Belinda? How are you? I'm just messing with you, Josh. Not about the name, but about banning you. Robbie, good to see you. Jeff, how you doing, my friend? Will says, why? Will, your brother, you're starting us off on a weird vibe, but okay. Why? I don't know. Guess because I want to. I don't know. JD, how are you doing? Oh, he said, I'm sorry. I gave you crap. Why so long? I don't know. I took a nap. What can I say? Chad Dubad is in the audience. Thank you, Chad, for coming on. I do appreciate you very much. Thanks, everybody. Belinda, did I say hello to you? Belinda, good to see you. Again, hope you guys are doing great. Thanks so much for hanging out with us here today. And again, I very much appreciate it. So, guys, we're going to get started here. And there we are. So last minute tweaks. There we go. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off, kids, in grand style here. AEW, there it is. Double or Nothing happening tomorrow. Before we get started on this, Phil, I'm going to throw it to you right off the bat. What's your high-level thoughts going into Double or Nothing, to AEW's big event tomorrow night?
It's wild to think this company's been around for 5 years. Fifth annual Double or Nothing. I think that's great. When you look at some of the moves that they've made as a company, bringing in Ospreay, he's fit in seamlessly. Okada's been a great addition for them as well. Finally getting to see Mercedes wrestle, pretty big deal. The women are main eventing. That's a huge move for them as a company as well. So yeah, hopefully this is a sign of good things to come for next year.
Awesome. Joe, thoughts?
Yeah, again, it was AEW was the thing that got me back into wrestling, because I was very, very absent for a lot of it, and I stumbled across it one day very early on, and I've followed it ever since. And it has had its ups and downs, I will say, but I believe at the moment they're on the uptick again, and I'm very, very excited for this now as well, because bar one match, they're all bangers, and we all know which one it is.
We will get there, I'm sure. He said, do we? I like that. I like that. Right off the bat, that's good. Jay, what do you think?
That's no way to talk about Trent Barretta, Joe. Yeah, I'm really excited. I was a very lapsed fan, and then AEW come around and changed that. And it always, especially with Double or Nothing, it always feels like a big deal whenever it rolls around to that. I guess this is their Mania. And yeah.
Is it technically All In now? It's All In's the bigger show, at least. But I think in terms of tradition, it's probably Double or Nothing. You're probably right.
Yeah, I think prestige level is Double or Nothing. Because I'm going to All In, I'm going to say that's the Mania. Actually, you're right, Phil. But yeah, I'm really excited as always.
Chris, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, happy 5-year anniversary. Once again, like you guys said, I was still doing a WWE podcast during the time period where AEW first started. So it felt great to have something different that was good coming into it. As far as this pay-per-view goes, this for me is kind of like a mid-tier card. There are some things I'm excited about seeing, though, like Mercedes Moné back, which I think is going to be awesome. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if I'm $60 looking forward to it, I guess is what I would say.
What?
That's fair.
NordVPN, man.
Is that how much it costs in America?
Yeah. $50.
How much is it?
Wow. 20 quid.
What?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. NordVPN. Get it cheaper.
Get out and fight.
That's
We here at Tom
wild.
Clark's Main Event do not advocate illegally streaming or downloading. However, do what you must. Do what you must.
I'm still recording this on DVR, transferring it to VHS tapes, so that one day when I pass away, someone will get a box full of AEW tapes.
That's a lot of work, my friend. That is a lot of work.
Available on YouTube and Triller. instead of just Bleacher Report. So people won't be on the timeline telling me how much Bleacher Report's app sucks, and it's just like it does kind of suck.
Does.
But I work there, and I don't want to bash the app, but it sucks a little, just a little.
Yeah, it's not fun.
I think I'm one of the only people that still order it traditionally through cable. I still get it through AT&T Uverse so that I can DVR that and copy it off and all of that jazz.
Yeah, it is a bit pricey, but it is what it is. Like I'm sure I'm going to get it and watch it. But to your point, Phil, that I'll say it for you, that Bleacher Report app, and I can't believe after 5 years we're still but they are still like, I don't know. Anyway, I have sent my fair share of direct messages to the good folks at Bleacher Report on the night of the pay-per-view. Like, what is going on? What is happening? Sin.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It usually works well with my TV, so I can't complain too much.
Let's dive into this card, gentlemen. Let's talk about, maybe in a certain order. I'm going to start at the top and go all the way through to the main event here and get everybody's thoughts and see what everybody thinks here. Thunder Rosa versus Deonna Purrazzo. Chris, let's start with you on this one. We've seen Deonna Purrazzo kind of do this. I'm babyface. No, I'm just kidding. And now she's heel. I mean, in my opinion, her gimmick lends itself to being a heel right off the bat. So it makes a lot of sense that she is now heel. Thunder Rosa finally back in action. Good to see her back. What do you think about this match?
Should be a very good match. I love both these girls. So, looking forward to that. Like you said, with Deonna, I think that the Toni Storm effect kind of hit her much like it's doing Serena Deeb's right now, where Toni Storm was just so over, you almost have to turn the other person heel. So throwing her against Thunder Rosa makes a lot of sense because Thunder Rosa is still pretty over as a babyface. Should be a good opening match.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this too. And to Phil's point about when we started here, the women are going to have, at least there's 2 matches here on the show. So at least right now there's 11 matches total that I see. So we'll see if something else comes out of Collision tonight. Not sure yet. Jay, thoughts on Rosa versus Purrazzo?
I'm excited. I really like Deonna. I think Thunder Rosa's starting to feel a bit more like she was before she was injured after that Toni Storm match. And I think these two are going to take the house down.
Well done. I think you're probably right about that. Joe, what do you got for me?
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked Thunder Rosa because I like the whole pageantry of it and all of the was it Double or Nothing with the Lucha Bros with the big Aztec headgear and stuff. I love that kind. I like the pomp and circumstance of it all, and she's got that. This is the one thing though. Haven't we seen this recently? Thunder Rosa against Deonna Purrazzo.
Have we?
Yes.
I don't know. It feels like it's the same 5 women just in a rotation.
I think it was a Collision match. It seems like they're kind of doing like a best of 5 or something like that. Because I think they've done a Collision match, and I want to say that either this is the second match or the third match they've done together.
I mean, they've all been great. I just feel like, why? But again, the buy-ins, the buy-in or whatever it's called for this, the 0 hour or whatever, they always put good matches on, which is something that other people don't.
Phil, to Joe's point, and it's a good point too. Some of the criticism leveled against this company in these 5 years have been like, at any given time, the women's division is kind of all over the place. I mean, unless it's a title match, maybe it doesn't carry the weight that maybe some of the men's title or matches that aren't for titles carries. What do you think about that? Are they improving at all, or are they still struggling with that aspect of their women's booking?
I don't know if this is hot take or what, but I think this is the best the women's division has ever been. I think that they have somebody that feels like a big star in Mercedes. They have like ongoing stories. You can see the progress that they've made with Willow specifically as a character. I think they're doing a lot of things well. They're doing something with Statlander. I'm kind of assuming they're going to do something with her tomorrow night. I'm sure we'll get to that when we get to her match. But based off the segments, they've got a lot of ongoing things going with the women. Tony's smashing it. Her character's great. Promos are fire. Yeah, I think this is the best the women's division has ever been.
Yeah, I mean they've certainly got the talent there on the women's division for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder when we're gonna see Camille because she's signed, right?
Has she? Interesting.
That's the word on the streets. Word on the dirt sheets.
There's been a lot of people floating the idea of her doing a Shawn Diesel thing with Mercedes Moné as almost a bodyguard, which would be an interesting way to use her. If you go back to NWA with Nick Aldis, she did something similar. Like she did, I don't think she even talked for 6 months to begin with there at NWA.
Very true. Man, in a different world, the national treasure is AEW World Heavyweight Champion. I'm sorry, I love Nick Aldis. I can't help it. I love the guy. So hats off to him. He's getting paid. He's enjoying himself, and he's doing great in WWE. But like, man, I miss that gimmick, to be honest with you. So yeah, I was here for it.
Yeah, glad that they made the buy-in though, because I think Thunder Rosa and Deonna did have a good match the first time around on Collision. So I think this is gonna hit.
Awesome.
Just to piggyback on what Phil was saying, I do think this is the strongest the women's division has been, and you still have in the background Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter at some point should be coming back. So I think it's going to be even better going forward this year. Probably around All In, we'll hopefully start seeing some of them show back up.
Yeah, I forgot about Jamie Hayter. Weirdly, somehow, because she's in my thoughts a lot.
This is so much.
I can't go All In, and she's going to appear and just murder some people.
Yeah.
Very odd that we haven't heard any updates on her. That's kind of distressing.
Yeah.
It's almost more. It seems like she's being held out as opposed to still being injured because she just hurt her shoulder. It's been like a year at this point, so you would think that she's ready to go. But that kind of the same thing with Britt Baker. You would think both of them are ready to go. Maybe they're just waiting for the right moment.
Yeah. But I mean, at least with like Britt, we've seen like some kind of updates. We've seen her online. We don't even see like Jamie online posting anything. We haven't heard anything.
Oh, she's going to come back tomorrow.
She's keeping it kayfabe, brother.
Yeah, maybe so.
Didn't she have to like relinquish the title when she got hurt?
Yes. That was the whole thing.
Also, God, she was hot, man. She was really hot at her peak with that title, man. Big time. She was over.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So yeah, I'll be anxious to see her come back. I personally am really looking forward to this. I can't wait to hear everybody's thoughts, but I'm gonna give you mine first. Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black, barbed wire steel cage match for AWTNT Championship. I am very much looking forward to this. It looks like Copeland is, I won't say 20 years younger. I mean, he doesn't, but man, he just looks like he's having a blast, and he looks like he's having so much fun, and he's just been rejuvenated. And him and Black, I think they're going to absolutely crush this. I know there was some pushback on the whole dumping the blood stuff. Oh, it's WCW. Shut up. They didn't WWE. What are we talking about? That's the Brood. That's what this is. I mean, he can't say Brood on live TV. I get it. But like, Phil, what do you think the chances are that, I'm not saying it's going to happen. What's the chances, if any, Copeland comes up out of the floor tomorrow night with fire around him? You think they go that far?
I don't know, but I'm kind of wondering because wasn't Gangrel supposed to have like an entrance with him at some point with WWE? So I was like, I wonder if we see him tomorrow night.
Could.
No one's using the Cody Vader.
Well, the Bucks are.
The Bucks are. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're not going to share that. Yeah.
The Cody Vader. I love that.
The Cody Vader. It used to be the Jade Vader, and it's now like the EVP. Hello, Vader. Doesn't work as well.
The Eva Plate. No. That sounds like a thing for removing hair.
Anybody else sharing my enthusiasm for this? Anybody want to jump in here? I'm really looking forward to this match.
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do hope that.
No. I think it's gonna be a fun match. I think Copeland's been doing great over there. I think it's different enough from what he was doing with WWE. Like the style of matches are different. Like whatever week that was where he had the Brody King match, I was like, this guy's like really like having like these long TV matches, and they're great matches. So yeah, I think he's gonna have a good one with Malachi. We haven't seen Malachi have like a big singles match in a long time either. So I think he has a lot to prove here. Really excited to see where this goes.
Chris, why do you say no? What you don't care about this?
It feels like a cage match where somehow Malachi's group is going to somehow end up inside of the cage. It kind of seems like it will go to that finish, especially because they're teasing Adam Copeland joining the group, the House of Black, especially coming out of those Malachi promos. That, and we also, I mean, this is a barbed wire steel cage match, and then we have the Anarchy and the arena match. So to me, you're just putting like too much hardcore on one card, and AEW has been leaning into that more and more. So that's kind of, as far as Adam Copeland in AEW, I've really liked the run so far. So hopefully the match will just be, a straight singles match and we'll get a good match. But I with House of Black, I always feel like somehow it's going to get weird.
Yeah, there's going to be monkey shines, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not for. Go ahead, Joe.
I was about to say, I thought that was kind of the point of him beating the other members before this one. So it would be kind of silly if they kind of ran out there like, aha, we're all going to beat you together. Like, hey, I beat all of you guys.
Yeah.
Good point.
I mean, they kill people on this show all the time and they just show back up. So like,
That's true.
Well, I mean, if we're going to go that far, Chris, man, you just ruined the whole thing for me. Yeah. It's like Jim Ross. One of Jim Ross's pet peeves has always been, explain to me if you hit a man with a 10 punch 10 times in the face on the show the next night, he doesn't have a black eye. Explain to me how that happened. And I'm always like, stop doing that to me because you're ruining it. You know what I mean? Like, I know he's right, but still.
It's entertainment, Jim.
Suspension of disbelief, Jim.
Yes.
Yeah, going off the same theory as far as the rest of the members not showing up. I mean, he got like triple concertoed in a corner. So in theory, Adam Copeland himself shouldn't be making it into this match.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And
Chad, too
Malachi's
bad.
got hepatitis now as well. Yeah.
Not only was it blood in a bucket from the top, it was filled with the hepatitis. I'm just
I
saying.
thought it was jam. It took me a second, to be honest, because it kind of congealed a bit. Yeah.
It was awesome because,
It
like,
was,
your head could go different places and go, okay, that's starting to look like a horror movie. I freaking loved it, man.
Somebody should definitely do like an edit of it, smashing him with like Michael Jackson's jam over it.
Oh, calling to pay $100,000 for 2 seconds of the song.
I was
Or
just very
something.
happy they hit their mark, because like when people bring up the WCW one, they just missed completely.
Yeah.
but having rewatched that, it never fails to raise a smile of him just going, just pointing off to one side of it.
It was like the one guy you didn't want that to happen to because he would have just no-sold it.
But it's that thing of like, do I walk over into it? Like, no, just stand
No.
there and point. Yeah.
And the force of those two, it was like jets coming down. Looked like they freaking took Malachi's head off. I'm like, you're going to actually kill him in the ring. This is going to be awesome. So, yeah, Malachi's got a concussion from the fake blood coming down.
Yeah.
Jay, what do you think about this? You look forward to it?
Yeah, I am. I know Mikey Ruckus was teasing on Twitter the other day about how he's done his own version of the Brood theme. So if we get that, then I'm here for it.
I'll never understand why the music guy is on Twitter talking about what he's doing. I just don't get it. Like, I don't know. I've complained about this to Phil. Phil knows. Like, what are you doing this for? You're backstage. Quit freaking tweeting on what you're doing. Like, I
never said when it's happening.
Listen,
well, that's okay.
It could just be for his own amusement.
It's all a red herring. Malachi's going to be in the ring, and they're going to do the meme. He's going to be like waiting for him to come on, and next thing you're going to hear is do you believe yours?
Oh my God,
it'll be the greatest thing ever.
we're already booking this show. They
Bait and switch, yes.
they don't need Tony Khan. They got us, man. We could fix that. Let's fix the whole thing. How about the AEW International Championship? Roderick Strong versus Will Ospreay. Chris, on what planet does Will Ospreay not win the belt in this match?
I think he has to win the belt, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe you do something with the Kingdom try to make him look strong. Really lean into DQ finishes in AEW or dusty finishes. I was going to say something else, but PG show. So
Thank you.
I'm assuming he's going to win here. Originally, my thought was that he was going to go for the heavyweight title at All In. That kind of just lined up and made sense with the way they pushed him. There's no reason why he couldn't get both belts, I guess. But yeah, I would assume that he's getting the win here.
Jay, Roddy gets kind of a mixed bag of reactions online. People who don't care for him at all. I freaking love Roddy Strong. I love the glasses. I love the stupid, the voice and I just love the whole presentation. I think that the differences between him and Ospreay are vast, but not in the ring because Roddy is very, very good. I think they're going to smash it in this match, dude.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some nasty looking backbreakers that Ospreay's taken. Yeah, to Chris's point, I'm kind of glad that Ospreay's not in the world title picture yet. I'm actually quite happy they've put him in like kind of like the international championship picture, just because I feel like when we do get to Ospreay getting into the world title picture, it should feel like monumental as opposed to it almost feeling rushed if he just gets the shot at All In this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Joe, what do you think about the dichotomy here of these two guys? They're different, but you strip away the gimmicks and the bravado, and they're both excellent technicians in the ring.
Oh, totally. And this is like one of the matches I'm really looking forward to because Strong hasn't been presented that well. Like with all the dumb gimmick. Yeah, I love the neck brace and the glasses and all that stuff. It's great. I love, as I've already said, I love dumb stuff. But he's never really had like banging matches since he's been in. And everyone who's gone up against Ospreay they've been amazing matches. Like, and this will hopefully then, I mean, Ospreay's taking the belt, obviously, but it's going to make Strong and possibly Taven and Bennett like push them into that next level, and then possibly do something with the trios because that's stuck in a holding pattern still. Like, I whinged so much for the trios belts, and then they came, and I was like, oh, okay, this is terrible. Yeah.
Well, they combine it with the RH. I mean, I won't go off on a rant here, Phil, but like, I just don't get it. Because they're still using, I can't remember the ring announcer name from ROH. He's being used on as a Collision. Like they're mixing back and forth. No, he's a commentator. The ring announcer can't. Yeah. And I mean, it's fine, but like, I don't know. Anyway, I don't go off on a rant, but like, Phil, let me ask you, how long do you think they're going to be able to keep Ospreay away from that world title? And part two of that, if the answer is quite a while, how do they keep him as hot as he is now, you think?
I think it's the right move to not put him straight in the world title picture. They haven't really done that with any of their big free agents yet. Even Punk, when Punk came in, he went on like a long run of just like regular TV matches before he got a world title shot. And so I think it makes sense to not put him in the title picture right away. I think it would have undermined what you were already doing with Swerve. And then on top of that, you've got a guy that lives international. He lives in the UK. So to put the international belt on him, he could actually wrestle overseas with the belt.
Good call. Yeah.
Cassidy did some, and Pac did some overseas stuff as well, didn't they?
Yeah. And,
moist Pac, not dry Pac. Yeah.
I mean, Ospreay is undefeated since like last year, right?
Yeah.
So that would be, the reason to put him in the, if they care about rankings, they go back and forth on that all the time. But if you're talking about someone that is deserving of a heavyweight title shot, that would be the guy, right? He's beat everyone. I think the way out of this, if you wanted to keep the belt off, Roderick Strong, you could always do the Callis family joins up with Matt Taven and Mike Bennett to do a beatdown or something. But like I said, they normally don't lean into that stuff in AEW.
Why did you put that into?
Why did you mention Don Callis at all?
Because he's got to get away from the Callis family at some point, and that would be a good out.
He does. I don't think they need to put the world title on him anytime soon.
Again, let him go on a tear.
Yeah.
I think putting an international title on him is fine. But I wouldn't be surprised if he does get the world title match at All In after this. But I still don't think he needs to win it just yet.
No.
I think you can wait for a good year or so to put that belt on him.
We got Hangman to come back. We got
Yeah.
MJF and Adam Cole. Like that's your main.
Let
Hangman
Swerve
much
have
I
his
want.
run.
Oh yeah, totally. Oh, no. But there's your your world championship moving parts. Is those four?
Osprey was just on Swerve's podcast, and Swerve was making a joke. Man, they've already said I'm losing. They've already said I'm just transitional champion. You can hear everybody in the background laughing. I'm like, I just don't understand. Like we all praise the guy and pat him on the back and say how far he's come and his journey and all that, and then we're all waiting for when he's going to drop it. I don't understand that. Let the guy have his run.
Internet wrestling fans, buddy. As soon as you put the belt on him, it's time to move on to somebody else.
No,
Part of that-
Swerve's
well,
right for a long run.
Yeah.
Part of that is how they booked him coming out of winning the title. Like, if we're being honest, like
That's
their
fair.
they haven't made him a featured star on their shows. So
That's important. Yeah.
But
that's why you're getting that reaction from the fans. I mean, like after he won the title, he didn't even get like a celebration, or I don't even think we got a promo from him the next Dynamite.
We didn't. He had the match. But I would say the second Osprey came in the company, people were like, world title. You got to put the world title on him.
Yeah.
He didn't get it the next day. He got it because it was
on Collision.
Collision because it was right after the baseball or basketball finished. So
Playoff
it had
game.
more. It technically had more eyes on it than the Dynamite would have done. So
Yeah. I still think they kind of mishandled that. I think that if you were going to give him the match instead of a promo, you should have given him something to say right after the match, even if it was something short and sweet, like, won the title, but grind doesn't stop here. Still going to continue to work every match. See you guys on Collision. Something just as simple as that would have worked perfectly.
Yeah.
It's as we've discovered as well, the weird overruns and things getting cut off, especially over here, Jay, like on Fight, like stuff just misses, and you have to go on the internet to find it and stuff. It is difficult with timings and that, but yeah.
Yeah, and Faye is right. Swerve versus Claudio was fire. That was a fantastic match.
It's two guys that make everybody they work with better. Like, man, Claudio is an absolute specimen. Randy Orton gets praised for his physique, and he should, but Claudio, my God in heaven. And if Mark Henry's not in your locker room, I mean, is Claudio the strongest man in the locker room? I'd say probably so. That guy's a freaking beast, man.
It's amazing what a diet of Toblerones and cuckoo clocks will do for a boy.
Coffee?
Oh, that's fun.
He throws a few cups of coffee in there sometimes.
Yeah, I'll follow his account on Instagram. It's fun. Real quick before we move on from this, Phil, Prince Nana had a rather cryptic tweet about being fired, and we didn't see him on TV for a couple of weeks, and now suddenly he showed up in the parking lot. Any info on that?
Why would I have info on that?
There was something to the extent of, the funny thing about being fired is blah blah blah, and then let's see, and then he wasn't on TV for a bit either, and then suddenly he's back.
I didn't even see that. Yeah, I thought he was just taken out, right? Because he got taken out in the segment with Swerve before that, and that's why he wasn't on TV. I was like, where did the firing come from?
Yeah, it's he may have deleted it because he tweeted it out. Yeah, dude, he may have deleted it, but it was there for a while. Anyway, we don't have to get too hung up on it, but I thought, something's happened behind the scenes that we don't know about.
I genuinely laughed out loud at that bit on Dynamite.
Him pulling up in the car? Yeah, that was very funny.
But just with his coffee and just what?
Yeah,
I was
with
like,
his coffee.
never change.
Very funny.
Nada.
It was awesome. As if I'm just sitting here. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Malicious compliance.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's move on. I don't have to take all day on that. So, Phil, sell me on why we needed Trent Beretta to destroy Orange Cassidy and turn on Best Friends. Other than, there's nothing else they're doing. I mean, what part of this is working for you? Do you like this?
I do like the heel turn for Trent because seems like Chuck's going to be out for a while. You needed something for Trent to do, so you can't use him in a tag team. They kind of missed their chance to put the trios belts on those guys. So yeah, I think this is a good way to do something with Orange Cassidy that doesn't have him in the title picture for now, because I think people are kind of exhausted of him as a champion after that very long international title run. And this gives you a way to put him on the card.
What do you think, Joe?
Yeah. I mean, again love Best Friends. I was genuinely heartbroken when Trent did Unbetray. And like, yeah, I'm assuming that Trent is going to absolutely murder Cassidy so Cassidy can have some time off, because the boy has been grinding. Like, he's been since the championship, the international run, and then he had to come back and take it again because of injury, I think it was. He's not had. It's Moxley. Like, go on holiday. Oh, come back. Sorry, it's all gone wrong. That's what Cassidy's had to do, and I'm assuming that's why Trent's going to murder him tomorrow, so he can disappear for a bit, and we just get angry Trent.
And what
possibly Statlander ?
And what and Jay, look, this thing with Orange and Don Callis, what are we doing here? What's
What's worse, the Jericho Vortex or the Don Callis Apocalypse?
They're both the same thing.
Different sides of the same terrible coin.
It's all part of the Jericho Megaverse, mate. It's fine.
God, I hate that word.
Yeah, I have no idea with the Don Callis thing. I think it's going to lead into something with Ospreay and Orange, maybe, because that seems where they're kind of leaning, but I don't know what. I don't really get why Don Callis is involved in this at all.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. Chris, how?
I say that about 8 times a week, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
Don Callis is very good on commentary.
Do you think?
He is.
I honestly do.
I can't stand him.
I think if all he were doing was color commentate, he'd be fantastic. And not even color.
When Taz wasn't there, I missed Taz so much.
I like Taz, but I think Don does a good job, and I think he could do play-by-play. I honestly do. But
I hate his character. His stuff's great, but I just hate his voice. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
It's the way he pronounces words. Don Callis. It's the way he pronounces his words.
And he doesn't wear socks and logos.
That's weird.
I don't like that.
Mince trotters, mate.
If you've ever done that, you'll do it one time. You'll go, I'm never doing that again. That felt terrible. Yeah.
I put my shoes in the hole because they stank. Yeah.
I can't think of Don without thinking of being in Vegas last year for Double or Nothing. And I'm like standing out on the bridge that goes from MGM to the casino across the street. And I was standing there talking to Will Washington, and Don comes out of, I think it was the MGM, and he sees Will and he says hi to Will. And so he's walking, and I'm just like, oh, it's Don Callis. And he's like, looks straight up and goes, I was like, yo. I don't know what Don was doing that night, but he was checked out of all the work stuff. He was in full, it's time for me to just kick it in Vegas mode.
Dude. Chris, there's something about, I don't know how this became the Don Callis hour, but here we are. He is, I don't dislike him as a manager, but I don't know. There's something, I just don't, Mastermind, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I don't feel it personally. What do you think about him and this Orange Cassidy thing? Does it have any legs? Does it make any sense at all to you?
I think the legs come more from an expansion of Orange Cassidy's character more than Don Callis, right? Like a heel Orange Cassidy. Like, what does that look like? Does he talk more? Does it expand what we know as Orange Cassidy? I mean, I think that's interesting. Kind of like what Phil was saying. We just got like almost a full year of him being normal Orange Cassidy and going on this amazing title run, which I loved. I thought it was really cool, but there is something to be said about it is time to change the character up a little bit. We've gotten 5 years of the same Orange Cassidy. So I think from that aspect is pretty cool. I don't know that putting him with Don Callis is the right answer, but I like the idea of, that going on. Also, it's good to know I can get heel heat by just not wearing socks. And to comment on the
Reggie is now allowed to wear socks.
But yeah, on commentary, I mean, I just go back to and think about how he called matches in New Japan. I think he's great on commentary. Obviously, when he's on commentary now, he's playing his manager character, but like just as a straight commentator, he's amazing. I think he's really, really good.
Man, Joe, you got outvoted on that one, buddy.
I misspoke. Like I just hate the character. Like, and I know you're supposed to. Like the music alone is just the longer the note, the more dread. It's
and the heat. My God, the way remember, like he couldn't even talk. Oh, wow.
And so much heat in Mexico. He got legitimately attacked by some camera guy.
He did.
The camera guy attacked him. Guy's like, you know what? I've had enough. Bam! And he just smacks him upside the head with it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I think he works better as just a manager for one guy, and I think that's what's kind of gotten lost with the Don Callis family. If it was just him and Takeshita, I think it would be better, but he just doesn't need a faction, man.
AEW's big thing is putting people in factions unnecessarily, though, and sometimes it works, and sometimes we end up with what were they called? MJF's briefly.
Which one? He's had more than one.
Yeah,
was it the Firm?
The Pinnacle, the Firm.
That was it, the Pinnacle. That was the one that was about 4 weeks, and then they quickly just shoved it off to one side.
To some extent, that's the New Japan copy and paste Gato booking to build out that many factions.
I mean, and that's putting people's hair off, but
that's why I'm okay when AEW does factions. I never bump into it because I know that's New Japan's thing. But to your point, that it's like, well, it's okay to do that too. But when it feels like you put these guys together, like, and I'm not saying it works every time in Japan because I don't think it does either, but it feels like there's more symmetry. I don't know why I feel that way with the stables in Japan versus AEW. Not every one of them, right? But I don't know. It feels like there's more thought put behind it than just. It's like the WWE mode of tag teaming, right? Well, let's just. Let's just make them a tag team. Like these guys aren't doing anything. Just put them together. You know what I mean?
Starks and Big Bill.
I think a lot of it has to do with when they have a faction in New Japan, usually the members have something important to do, whether it's like being in Super Juniors or a G1 Climax. Like they'll have multiple members in the same tournament. So they find ways to flesh out where everyone in the faction's involved. Where if you go back and look at like Chris Jericho's stable, like what was Jack Swagger doing? For 90%.
Wearing a hat.
Wearing a hat.
I was talking about even before that, the original Jericho stable.
The circle. Yeah.
That freaking purple hat, man.
Yeah.
So they fall into that a lot. Even like Dark Order, like the whole faction with like 10 people in it.
Dark Order slander on this. Thank you.
5 years of Dark Order, man. Did they debut at Double or Nothing?
They did debut at Double or Nothing.
Yep, they did.
Wow.
And
no one knew who they were. But
that's
they
true.
They had them little creepers and
bring back the creepers.
Mate, that was a wild time, wasn't it?
The human throne.
Bring back the putty.
The human throne. Yeah. The putty.
That kind of feels like a Vince McMahon thing now, doesn't it? Hey, I'm just saying. No one here for that joke? All right, fine.
No. But it was, I believe that someone in Dark Order should have had a belt at some point.
Yeah,
they never did. They never won a title, did they?
Never had a belt.
Brody did.
Brody did.
But
outside of that, no.
Yeah.
But I was like, Uno and Stu could have had a tag belt early on.
Yeah.
Like there's been Silver and Reynolds could have had it. Like there's been plenty of incarnations of it where they could have done something with them, and like they're just because they were originally like spooky boys, weren't they? And now they're just I like the dumb, as I've said, I like the dumb stuff they're doing, and cutting off thingies bits and replacing them with a prawn and all that. Like it's good dumb fun. But
is Stu gone again?
He re-signed and then got let go again.
Yeah.
Contract expired.
A few weeks ago.
Stu's very good. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I really like Stu in the ring. Yeah.
Never used.
The only reason Evil Uno is still there is because they're using him for like YouTube and Twitch streams and stuff. It seems like, because I can't remember the last time I saw him in a match either.
But he had some bangers on his own.
Yeah,
That match at the Mox last year was awesome.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Jay.
No. It's just like that. They've got the talent and they just don't use it sometimes.
Speaking of bangers, I tried to segue quickly. Speaking of bangers, the Bang Bang Gang.
Jesus.
Thanks. Versus Death Triangle in a trios match. I love Jay White and the Guns. Jay, I've heard the criticism about Jay White needs to have a singles run. He should be maybe fighting Swerve for the title. I don't know. Maybe Jay's miserable. Maybe appearances can be deceiving, but him and the Guns are just, I really enjoy their shtick. I like watching them together. I think Jay knows how to control a room, and I think that he never gives the impression to me of like he's bothered by fans. It just looks like he's in control all the time. But what do you think about this match? Is this a sleeper on the card? You think this will blow up bigger than what we think it will?
I think it's going to be awesome. I genuinely do. I think the Gun Club have improved so much in the last 12 months that they shouldn't be overlooked in this match. Anytime you get Death Triangle, it's going to be fun. I think Pac's going to actually murder Jay White on television, which will be fun. I'm just happy to have Pac back, to be honest.
Again, the second highlight of my Dynamite this week was when Penta and Phoenix came out and we got Death Triangle back. I literally made a weird noise that I've never made before. Oh, my boys are back together. This is good. And then they're going to kill all three of them. And I kind like the thing is with the Jay White thing is that I think he's just been lost. The stuff with Daddy Ass and all that, it just went too long.
Yeah.
And we had 10-minute promos of them in the ring with a cardboard cutout. And I'm like, this is dumb. We could put a match on here.
Is Juice still hurt, by the way?
I believe so. He had like some concussion stuff, right?
Didn't he have a back injury as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, they missed Juice.
I miss Juice so much.
Oh, I miss Juice. Yeah.
He's great.
I didn't even realize how much I was going to miss Juice until he wasn't there, honestly, because like I always thought Jay was the better of those two. But that was not the case when Juice got to AEW, honestly. And I'm kind of surprised by that.
Yeah.
But it's that good faction, though, of there's your main star, there's your tag team, there's your renegade, there's your lunatic boy. That's who you need. What's it? It's Always Sunny.
The wild card.
The thingy and the wild card. Yeah.
They're the closest to DX we've gotten. Juice is X-Pac. The Guns are, of course, New Age Outlaws, and Jay is cerebral Triple H.
I was also still reeling from the fact that I wasn't going to get Jay White and Chris Bay anymore because he was coming off that TNA run, and I thought they were really good together.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. Am I the only one that was shocked that he never turned on Chris Bay?
No,
I
he
thought that
seems
was
to really
coming.
like him.
Yeah. I thought that was coming for real. Like, laugh it up, Chris. You're going to get your head taken off because, you can't trust Jay White. But, man, that turned out to be all right. So that was good. I was here for it. I'm with you, Jay. I think this match is going to be excellent. I don't see any weaknesses in this match. I think the Guns deserve mad props for, I'm going to say, improving. I never thought they were bad. It's just they were a young tag team. And like the word improving, I think, can be taken negatively as if a team or a guy didn't have it but then got better. I just think they had to have time to learn. And I think they've really improved over where they were. I think they're highly entertaining. They just need to always use, was it Mini Man? They need every time they come out. If it's just those two, that song is them. I freaking love that song.
Best intro in AEW. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Their current theme song is hot, though. I really like it.
It's good. Yeah.
But it's weird because I feel like they haven't truly recovered since the MJF program where they all just kind of got beaten at the same pay-per-view by him. And I mean, I know putting trios belts on them was supposed to, raise their profile, and it just hasn't quite happened yet. Man, they were hot on Collision, man. They were the best part of Collision some weeks, and then they came to Dynamite, and then they just lost to the champion, and that was kind of it.
Yeah, jeez. But yeah, I think this is going to be good. And honestly, Death Triangle being back together, that makes me happy as well.
Yes.
Let's talk about something that makes no one happy before we all get too happy with ourselves here and think everything's going great. Joe, I'm going to ruin it for you. Chris Jericho with Big Bill versus Hook with Katsuyori Shibata. I'll say this for Jericho. Stop it, Phil. I'll see you. Jericho is leaning all the way into this. Oh, wait, fans hate me. They think okay, well, fine. Let's just play into that. I continue to say he is extremely smart because he's leaning all the way into that. He's not running from it. And he's being as over-the-top cheesy as he can be on live TV, saying things like, hi, guys. That stupid. Oh, it's horrible.
Too far into it.
You think so? Is it too far?
Yeah. The kind of children's TV presenter mentality of it, I don't like that. Like, if you just dialed it back a couple of notches, it would be great. But the hi guys, yeah, it just like it's like a German like MTV presenter. It's just.
I don't know if I could have come up with that, but that's pretty good.
It also kind of comes off like Kmart MJF because MJF did the same thing except better.
Oh, yeah. That didn't even occur to me, but yeah.
I think he's just gone full Michael Scott.
Oh, jeez.
Literally just Michael Scott, isn't it?
Crazy.
He's got spider face, yeah.
I mean, I've not been one of those guys bashing Chris 6 ways from Sunday. I'm not going to bash him now, but now's the part where I'm kind of like, all right, maybe I see now what people are complaining about. I can't say I've always been on anyone's side against Chris this whole time, but like now I'm kind of feeling it as well. I'm kind of feeling it. Like, Phil, is this doing anything? It's hard to know. Benefit of the doubt, Phil, this isn't over yet. Does Hook come out of this better than he did going in?
I think the best thing about it is they took the FTW title off of him because that started to feel like an albatross on him. I think it's good that he's getting pay-per-view matches and he's being used more, but he didn't need that belt anymore. Like the whole novelty of him carrying his dad's belt was good for a few months, but it was kind of time to drop that belt. He did need to drop it to Jericho of all people, but it was time to get that belt off of him. So I do think Jericho's gonna retain tomorrow, but this Jericho stuff is just not good, man. It's not good.
Look at on Jericho's list. There's a list of all the belts, and the one he didn't have was the FTW belt, and he's like, well, I'm getting that at some point down the line.
I sat in that crowd at Dynasty, and one way to look at this is that he's doing great because he's getting a reaction. That's kind of the rule of thumb with wrestling, right? When you get a reaction, you're doing something good, right? I don't think that this crowd was in on the joke with him. I think that a lot of fans just want him to go away. This feels very much like go away. I wish he would just take some time off and come back with something fresh, because this feels like every faction he's done. This feels like Inner Circle again. It feels like Jericho Appreciation Society, where he is like, hey, man, I'm helping this new character get over. Look how altruistic I am. Stop it. Just take some time off, bro. Just please.
Proud and powerful. Never got a tag run. Yep.
Jeffrey had a really interesting question here, Jay. Is he trying to pay tribute to Bray Wyatt in a stupid way? Kinda. I don't know if I ever would have connected that, but
I don't
see that.
I'm not going to say I completely disagree, but I would never have connected that.
Jeffrey, show your working, please.
Show your work.
I did actually speculate on our podcast that I think it's a jab at CM Punk, because he's like a veteran trying to force younger wrestlers to do things his way, and if they don't agree with him, he beats them up. But
oh my god, I kind of really love that.
Like,
is it though? But
well, go ahead.
I feel like Jericho wouldn't wouldn't be as like on the nose with these.
I feel like it's more of a play off of what people actually think that he's been doing with AEW. I think him referencing the Vortex on TV and him pointing out like, hey, look, I'm bringing people under my wing and helping them. It's a nod and wink to what he's been doing with the company for 5 years now, but it's too on the nose, and then I just don't think people care. I just think people want him to take some time off.
He definitely.
I mean, the Vortex stuff. The Vortex stuff comes from Jim Cornette's podcast, right? Like that's. They
does
talk
it?
about that all the time. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that is also a shot at him.
Well,
but the
we
learning
got the
tree,
Jericho verse, but we had our own theory. Yeah,
the learning tree. Brian Myers did that same gimmick in TNA.
He did.
So
Yeah,
that's kind of
yeah.
that's another thing that's been done. And also, like I said, this whole being nice while you're the heel, that's MJF did that and did it better on the same show. I agree with Phil. I think Jericho just needs to go away. Absence makes the heart fonder, and then come back after he recreates himself, which he has been the king at doing. When he takes a long period of time off and comes back, people like him a lot more. He usually has a fresh character. I think that's kind of just where we're at with Jericho right now.
He's been cycling through. He's been down that patent office like weekly. Monday morning, you open up and Jericho's there with a stack of papers, and you're like, oh, Christ.
Please leave us alone.
Yeah, like, what's this one? Oh, Captain Onions, brilliant. Cheers, right, on we go.
Oh, that's wonderful.
He needs. They needed him at the start because it's a big name for a starting company. Great, they've got people in there now. They've established themselves. Just go and tour Fozzy or whatever it is you want to do, and come back. Like you said, reinvent yourself. Come back with something new. Take some time away.
Heck with that. I want to see Captain Onions now.
Some of this was a little bit of a forced hand. I'm not going to give them a complete out, but this was a little bit of a forced hand with the Sammy Guevara suspension and some of the things leading into this learning tree, right? Because that tag team they had rolling just completely dissipated out of nowhere. We didn't get any kind of payoff or reasoning why. We still don't know what's going on with Sammy Guevara also, and then they just started this Hook storyline.
Didn't he get suspended?
He's been suspended for like 3 months at this point now.
He got suspended after the Jeff Hardy match, and then we haven't seen him again. But he should have never gotten teamed with Jericho again, because he was starting a heel turn, and there was actually interesting stuff they were doing with it, and they were like, "Nope, let's just turn him face and put him with Jericho."
Got away.
Again.
He nearly got away, and then back in the sack with you, Sammy. Come on, down to the basement. Yeah.
Yeah, I just still think the worst mistake after the reaction at World's End, that should have been the hint. Like, let's just take Jericho off TV for a while. Let's take the hint, and
that's not going to work for him, brother.
And just
love it. Yeah, I don't get it either.
I will go to the bathroom during this match. Actually, no, because it's Hook and Shibata as well, who are great.
They're great. The translator thing Shibata's doing with his phone is hilarious.
Awesome.
A man of his size should not be wearing floral shirts. Killed me. Yeah.
Love it.
It
But
feels
you know
like
that Jericho's
Joe might get involved as well, to be fair.
Well, Hook going, I will fight you. I was like, no, Hook, don't say that.
Yeah. I kind of think Joe's gonna recruit him for like a stable or something. I think that's where we're going with this.
If
Joe Hook and Shibata is a
under their wing,
They planted seeds for that, and then all of this happened because they did that Hook Joe match, right? So that would be cool to see them go back to that well. That'd also be very similar to what Taz did for Samoa Joe and TNA, so it kind of plays off that. I think that's fun.
Look, Jeffrey is coming back to this. But look, I do not fully disagree with the idea. I won't say the word tribute, but I can see where you would connect some of the dots here. Look, this Firefly Funhouse thing,
full of string.
I hated that thing. Bray in the sweater. You know, I hated it. Loved Bray, hated it. Loved it.
What are you talking about? This was great. I loved it.
Loved Bray, hated the sweater, hated the thing.
No,
the puppets, the pig, and this. Come on, stop.
We're really glad that you're our friend.
Hate it.
I think you were cool, Tom.
I thought that stuff was not the problem. It was more what happened when they let the Fiend to get in the ring and all the red lighting and all the
that
silly crap they had him doing. The promo segments I thought were actually pretty good.
I remember seeing that the match wasn't in Saudi when in the cage, and it was the night that Seth kept popping him upside the head with stuff, and Bray was no selling.
We don't talk about that.
That was
that
was Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, I remember sitting at home watching that, and the first time he no sold, I just shook my head and I said, "Here's this what we're doing." All right, man.
That's the problem when you have an unkillable character. Like,
I just like that
he ended up Tom and Jerry and a load of stuff on him at the end, didn't he? Like,
yeah, he hit him with a giant hammer, but then he beat him by hitting him with a smaller
like a piano fell on him, then an anvil. Like,
yeah, took Seth Rollins 4 years to recover from that. 4 years.
It was bad. That made our like worst moment history or worst moment of that year list when we did our year-end review.
I wasn't watching wrestling at the time, but when we started doing, when I came back, my brother-in-law was like, "Go and watch this," and I was like, "Why?" He went, "Because it's terrible. How to ruin 2 people's career."
Or in other words,
hot garbage.
Hey,
what?
Yeah.
Come on. I had to remake the hot garbage button. You're welcome, kids. Segue into a match that we will, I'm sure, enjoy quite a bit more than this one. Jon Moxley, your IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, not defending, but facing Konosuke Takeshita. Takeshita wins. He receives a future shot at the title. Phil, this is going to be, we've said it multiple times, this is going to be lights out, a great freaking match. I don't know how this couldn't be a great freaking match.
Yeah. Love Takeshita. Had a fantastic match this year, Revolution. Usually when he gets big singles matches, he delivers. Mox has been on a fantastic run as well. I have no doubt this is going to be a good match. It very much felt like Japanese politics here of, hey, this guy cannot challenge for this belt, so figure out another way to do this and do this match, but he cannot challenge for the belt.
Well played. Yeah, makes sense.
But
Joe, what do you think about this?
It was the first time, it was this week or last week, where they explained the Eliminator rules.
Yes.
Because up until that point, I was like, if he loses, if Takeshita loses, which he isn't going to, he can never challenge for that belt again while Mox has it. But if he wins, he can challenge for it even if Mox doesn't have the belt. You see? And I was like, this was never explained. I was like, that's quite an interesting dynamic, you see?
He winning by... So does that mean that he wins by DQ? Because he ain't pinning Mox, is he?
No.
He's going to suplex him into the sun.
I definitely think he's losing.
John done passed out.
No. Takeshita's winning, and then they're going to have it on New Japan.
Off a bit.
I just don't see the New Japan having him on their show just because of the Japanese promotions he worked with and the heat that those promotions have with one another more than anything else. So I would assume that Moxley's just going to win clean here, unfortunately.
They could have him on Strong, though.
I just don't see it. With Japanese politics, it's very no to mix promotions like that. And I really believe that's why they're doing the Eliminator match and not just doing a title match, because they just don't want him to challenge for the belt.
Yeah, which brings the question, why even have this match to some extent, other than just to have a good match?
Just to have a good match. I don't know.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good match.
Oh, yeah, dude. And my apology, I didn't mean to I'm not trying to just push on by that match real quick, but I have yet to see, before I move on, I have yet to see Mox versus Umino, but I heard it was freaking awesome.
Fantastic.
Man, I got to watch that.
You don't have to rush to watch the Ren Narita match, and don't worry about what happens after the match. We don't have to talk about that, but the match itself was great.
I was in the middle of the match today and stopped it because I was working on this, but I'm not even going to ask. Holy Lord. Yeah, I mean, again, I was never really a hater on the whole, what's the faction?
House of Torture.
House of Torture. But man, I really don't like it now. Wow. Ren Narita in the House of Torture. You kidding me?
You need to breathe in House of Torture. You need to get involved with it and then appreciate the dumbness of it. John from my podcast was a big House of Torture no, and he's just learned to appreciate, and now he's 100% on board with it. It's dumb.
Because Gato won't leave us alone. He won't. He's like, no, you're gonna accept this House of Torture stuff no matter what.
Yep.
You're gonna take this and like it.
Yeah.
Every match is just nonsense. But yeah, it's you just got to just lean into it. Full Jericho.
I've defended them before because my point of view on House of Torture was every heel faction should cheat in every single match. And if they're not, why do we have heel factions? So if you take this in its literal definition, House of Torture is only doing what every heel faction should have done from the beginning of time. They're trying to win every single match and they cheat to do it.
But it's the fact that none of the face factions or whatever go, well, they're just going to come in. Why don't we just like put a big net there to trap them in? Or whatever, you know what I mean?
It's a big net.
Yeah.
It's just overkill when you see it every single New Japan show. It's like, stop it.
That's what makes it good. The repetition.
It's also very anti New Japan, even with heel factions. Like that's not something that they do very often. So House of Torture doing it every match is kind of wild.
Yeah,
it's
true.
just gotten round from being annoying to just being brilliant again now for me.
Yeah. All right. When Jack came over and joined them, I like yelled at this guy, Gato! Stop it! Leave us alone!
Not only is he a member of House of Torture, he's also a member of the Elite. I've segued again. The Elite. Kazuchika Okada. When did you ever think you'd hear those two words together? Jack Perry and the Young Bucks versus Team AEW. I hate the name of that already because it sounds like the other company, which is, of course, Danielson, Darby, and FTR. Anarchy in the Arena. This is going to take 35 minutes, you think? How long is this match going to take, Phil?
I have no idea, but should be fun. I enjoy the Anarchy in the Arena matches. They were both fun. Last year's was very fun. Was that 2022 when we got the Wild Thing playing throughout it?
Yep.
So fun. And I've liked the build to this match. The only elephant in the room for it is that, hey, this sure would have been better if that other guy didn't get fired, but you know. Yeah. Semantics.
Oh, snap.
Because the entire build around this is based on him. I mean, Jack coming back, showing the footage, all of this stuff. All of the guys from Collision that are going up against the Elite. Hey, would it make sense if the guy that was leading the guys from Collision was the guy that the show had been built around for the first 4 or 5 months? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree 100% with you. They built this entire storyline around CM Punk, and then now they're building it. Now they're building it around.
Because I mean,
Omega's not there either. Is the other problem?
Yeah, all of the members of Team AEW, they're together based on their connection either with Punk or being on Collision. Darby Allin, known CM Punk ally. FTR, known CM Punk ally. Bryan Danielson, known good friend of CM Punk. So that's the only thing. Like the episode where they're in the ring beating Omega down and FDR comes out to face them, I was just sitting there like, this is great. Buddy, if Cult of Personality hit right after this would be through the roof. That's the only thing that is really like bogging it down. But I really like the idea of the guys from Collision getting together to face these guys. Whichever episode that was where Matt and Nick are backstage, and Matt's like, this is disgusting. How dare they call this team AEW? AEW was my idea. Remember that, Tony Khan? I got in the group chat and came up with the name AEW. If anybody's team AEW, we are.
I'm sorry to correct you, Phil, but that's Matthew and Nicholas.
I was going to say that's a fine. And took your shirt in.
But yeah, everything else around this, I think the EVP thing has been great. I think Matt and Nick leaning into it has been good. I think Jack has been phenomenal since he's come back. Vastly improved as a promo. Yes. Getting incredible heat. I was very skeptical when they jumped Tony Khan at the end of the match, at the end of the one episode, and I was like, I don't know how well this is going to go, but it ended up working really well. You got our guy on NFL television with the neck brace. Was very funny. And you got this stuff last episode of Tony pulling up in the car and fist bumping Darby when he
It
comes
was
in there with this massive like flamethrower.
Was it like 2 weeks ago where it cut to Tony with a load of laptops around him like a Neil Breen film?
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, this is tremendous. Lean
But-
into the silly.
But this is what makes even the other Punk connection very funny as well. Nearly a year ago, this guy got on TV and said, "Hey man, I had to do what's best for my company. People's safety was at risk." And then last episode, he pulls up with a guy in a car with this massive flamethrower.
Oh, with a flamingo pink like fur coat on as well. I was like, this is a delight. Yeah.
There's got to be a story behind that fur coat thing, but I don't know what it is.
It's just Darby doing Darby stuff, isn't it?
I guess.
It's probably padding in case he gets hit by, I don't know, a stray helicopter or something. Like.
Faye has saved this guy. She says it's okay though. Darby has a permit.
He does
There you
have a
go.
permit. And Jack has been doing like the lighting himself on fire bit on his social media.
Oh,
So I have to assume that that's going to play into this match, right?
Eddie Kingston's going to be
I mean,
furious.
He did use real glass. Now he wants real fire. Sure.
Real fire.
What
man.
next? Real sharks with lasers on their heads?
Yes.
Why aren't we doing that already?
Why aren't we doing that already? You kidding me? I'd pay to see that.
If I had a pitch for this match, and we're going for a song to play throughout this match, Tony Khan, you have the money. Justin Timberlake, Cry Me a River. Do it.
Oh wow, that would be that's a choice.
It's,
Yeah.
Like I said, when they aired the backstage footage, I was a bit like, this seems, and they've managed to make like silk purse out of a sow's ear with it, and yeah, again, I never made the connection between Punk and Danielson and the rest of it like you've done there, Phil, but I don't know. It's going to be good. The Anakin Arena matches are always great. I rewatched the first one just for Hangman riding around on a horse. It's just the most daft thing ever. But
And the bit where he's at the bar, they take a moment to have a drink together was freaking awesome. I loved it so much.
Matt Hardy with the old Matt Fax back, like it was what we
Yes.
needed in those dark times of COVID. Like it was
Yes.
lovely. But the one 2 years ago, brilliant. And I think Darby's just going to actually genuinely try and kill himself in this because there's no like his foot can't be healed. He was hit by a bus.
He said he's hurting.
He got a concussion like last week as well. So they weren't even sure he was going to be cleared for this match this week. And this guy was going to climb Mount Everest. He's had a string of bad luck. Maybe don't even think about doing that in the future.
Is he
either.
American or Canadian? Because he's going to have to pay for his health insurance otherwise.
He's from Seattle, right?
Yeah, I was about to say
mate.
he's from the West Coast.
There again, he's got Sting's son living in his front garden, so he's probably charging
He
him
does.
charging him rent or something. Yeah.
I know. I know that he lived here in Georgia. That's the whole thing. They talk about him being homeless in Atlanta for a while, but I'm pretty sure he's from the West Coast, right?
Yeah, he's from Seattle. That's why when they were there and Eddie Kingston ended up being injured, the story is that he just called and was like, "Hey, I'm at home. I can show up."
Eddie Kingston's injury is terrible, by the way, on such a weird spot that he shouldn't have probably been doing in the first part. He's going to be gone for a full year. So sending
Tom,
that guy
have you-
warm wishes.
Tom, have you seen that match?
I have not.
Buddy, the way Eddie Kingston's leg hit that barricade, I knew instantly. I was like, "Oh, he's hurt. There's no way." 'Cause the barricade did not give it all, and the way his leg hit it, and as soon as he hit the ground, he was clutching his knee. I was like, "Oh yeah, he's definitely hurt."
I have seen that spot. You're right. It did not look good for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I saw the moment of the impact. Like, and I'm not going to bash Eddie. I love Eddie. Yeah. Injuries happen. I'll leave it at that. But,
Yeah.
Love
Gabe Kidd, but probably should have not done that spot that way.
But
Yeah,
now,
it
see,
was crazy.
It's the what could have beens, because Eddie was gonna set Jack Perry on fire.
100%.
He was gonna finally get to live out his burning someone fantasies.
That's right. He did come down.
tried
with
to set fire to
gas
Danielson, didn't he?
canister.
Yeah,
He poured gas all over his own teammate in Chris Jericho, if I remember correctly.
We got some Kane stuff happening up in here. What's going on here in this company, man?
What could have been?
Right. So I didn't mean to leave the women out of this. I mentioned earlier we're only going to see them twice. We're indeed going to see them 3 times. My apologies. Thomas, Tony Storm. By the way, we haven't really predicted much of these matches here. We've just been kind of talking about them. So we can go back around the horn and get predictions at the very end here. But Tony Storm defending the AW Women's World Championship against Serena Deeb. Chris, is Serena Deeb heel or babyface? Go.
I mean, she's, like I said, that's the timeless Tony Storm problem right now. I think she was supposed to be a babyface. She was telling this really sad story, like true life story. Wrong opponent to do that against. So just very unfortunate. I like Serena Deeb a lot. I'm sorry that she went through everything she went through because it sounded terrible, but time and place. Tony Storm was not the opponent for that promo. And I don't know. I thought that when she came out, she was going to be heel because she picked up the title belt like while Tony Storm was dealing with something else. So I thought she was coming back as a heel, and then she cut a babyface promo. So I have no idea what they're doing with that, but Tony Storm's winning this match, so I guess it doesn't really matter. On to the next opponent.
Jay, is who do you book against? Well, maybe the answer is there's no one to book against Tony that would not be able to stand toe to toe with Tony's gimmick. Is that the answer, Jay? Is that it's just impossible to do that right now?
Right now, yeah, I think it feels to me like they're building up for Mariah May to be the person to take it off Tony, probably at All In because she's a local girl. And I think that they'll probably start like ramping that up a bit more, getting closer to All In. But yeah, as you guys said, like there's definitely, it is hard to kind of have anybody go toe to toe with Tony because she is such a like large personality. And anyone who kind of like tries to just feels like they're kind of like lost in the shuffle with everything else that's going on around there.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said here on the show back in November, maybe it was October. I said Tony Storm's the best thing in pro wrestling, and people in this, not you guys watching now, everybody here's good, but there was some snickers from the peanut gallery. Oh, where is she really, Tom? I was right. I'm not right about everything, but I was right about this. Joe, she is, I think, Joe, barring any unforeseen circumstances, Tony's going to be as over as they want her to be, unless something tragic happens and she gets injured or, she pushes a nun in front of a bus or something. Like, this gimmick is on fire, man.
Yeah, it's was it the Renegades or whatever, the Saraya thing that she was in, and it was awful, and it was
the Outcasts.
The Outcasts, that was it. Sorry, yeah. I just don't. I can't retain that information because it's nothing to me. She went away, came back with this tremendous gimmick of a 1920s film star. Which is insane if you think about it. Like, I've never seen this before. Maybe somebody has, I don't know. But I like the fact that she's over as hell, but still cheats to win. Like, it's the great thing. My one thing that I kind of want to happen, as we were talking about before we started doing this, Jamie Hayter comes out, clothesline her so hard she ends up in a flip book.
I mean, I think that's the right idea, right? You get like a Jamie Hayter or a Britt Baker coming back as a heel to go against Tony Storm, because I don't think you're going to be able to position a babyface against her and it actually work.
I think it's good call. I think Britt could go as a heel, could go toe to toe with her and not be overshadowed by Tony Storm.
And then the Mariah May thing, I think, makes a lot of sense for All In. But
yeah,
to get there, maybe you do something like that in between.
Yeah, I don't think that you're going to be able to have something like Tony turns on Mariah and you're supposed to feel sympathetic for Mariah. I think in order for it to work, Mariah is going to have to turn on her.
Yeah. But I think we're a ways off that yet because of all of the come to your mother's bosom and all that stuff we had. Like, it's got weird very quickly. Yeah.
Well, so with Mariah May, that her stablemate from Stardom, do they bring that in? Do they bring that stable in to kind of help with that as far as that breakup goes? Because I felt like that was really over with them doing the champagne toasts.
Yeah, I think that's the Forbidden Door match. I think that's why they've been putting so much TV time on it, is to kind of heat it up by the end of June.
I was going to say, didn't Tony challenge her at the Stardom show over Mania weekend?
Yep.
Yes.
Well, did she challenge her, or did she just kind of come out and then they kind of had a stare off? It wasn't an official challenge, though. But I have to assume that's going to be a Forbidden Door
challenge. Yeah.
That'd be a fun match.
Send a telegram.
I will say, as far as the champagne toast and all that, I'm not a regular viewer of Stardom. I had no idea what was happening. I mean, I'm glad Excalibur explained it, but like even the crowd, and usually their crowd is completely tuned in. You could see the first couple times it happened, that crowd's like, I don't know what I'm watching here. And I'm not trying to go to that familiar rhetoric of they never tell us. I'm not saying that, but I think
need a video package.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I do think maybe
Put it in
she
the
could have
QR
been mentioned in a
code,
promo at some point or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I just picture like the flickering screen of like in like the Club Venus music coming out, and like Mina's like doing all her dance, and Tom is just looking at the screen confused, like, what is all of this? What's happening?
And Tom, to your point, I mean, they have a hard time with that, even with the larger stars like Kazuchika Okada when he first came in, like explaining to someone who doesn't watch Japanese wrestling why that's important, right? So,
yeah, but I kind of feel like their crowd all knows who Okada is. The WWE crowd would not. They
but
would.
You're trying to grow your crowd.
Well, that's
So
true.
you should always
That's
be
fair.
explaining why this person is important.
That's fair.
Well, I mean, I think it's a little different with the elite in general, because I think most people that started watching this show started watching because of those three guys, particularly those Bullet Club members, because that's kind of like the backbone of their core fan base. It's a little bit different bringing somebody from like Stardom, because that's a big assumption that everybody watched New Japan and Stardom. That's not quite the same.
I'm just saying in general, do a better job. If you're launching into it, you gotta give more detailed video packages. Like put together a 3-minute video package. It won't kill you, I promise.
I swear
yeah, I mean,
it was
yeah,
the Bray Wyatt thing. People will go into the code of a QR thing to find location info, but they can't just Google who Okada is.
yeah.
Well,
it's bewildering to me,
diehard fans will do that, but your casual fan that just got done watching Big Bang Theory that might stick around for 5 minutes of your show isn't going to do that.
I don't want them. If they're watching Big Bang Theory, they probably need help.
Man,
will.
are we?
You
Don't
will
be
if you can't
banging.
You
Don't-
will
don't-
if they can't re-up this TV contract, because they'll end up on like Pop TV or something. So
Don't bag on Big Bang Theory,
Then-
Joe. Come
it's
on, now.
important. to grow
I
your
will.
audience.
Don't.
I will.
Don't. It's
Terrible. It's the most.
what? Oh my God, we have a serious problem here.
I used to think you were cool, Tom. Yeah.
I am extremely cool. Josh said, "Are you mad at?" Josh, you and I are good, brother. I was giving you grief over my name. The one I'm mad at now is Joe. Are you kidding me?
What?
Don't like the Big Bang Theory.
Come on. It's got
You
the
better-
men
hey.
and ladies doing the intro. That should be enough of a hint.
Hey, you better hush your butt. Hush your butt, Joe. There's a Two Nations reference for you. Hush your butt. So we talked about the champ earlier, Swerve Strickland taking on Christian Cage, singles match for AW World Heavyweight Championship. So, Phil, I think we all love Christian. Has this played out the way you thought it would with Christian? Is it living up to expectations? Do you think more could have been done with it? What do you think?
I like what they've done. I think if you're gonna pick the top heel in the company that just came off of a title run, it makes sense for him to challenge Swerve. And then I also like that they have played up on continuity, because a lot of times in wrestling, somebody will turn face and then it's like, oh, well, he's a good guy now. We're just gonna forget all the bad things that he did, and all of the stuff that they've been doing so far. Like, wait a minute. Hey, man, you embarrassed our guy over here. You smashed this guy over the head with a picture of his dead dad. We're not going to just let you get away with that. We're going to come back and rub your nose in this. We're going to play up all of this stuff that you did as a bad guy. And I think that that's great.
I do too, actually, because Yeah, the whole home invasion thing. I'm not a huge fan of that anyway, but like, I don't know. Like when Hangman was getting booed, not to rant, when Hangman was getting booed during that feud and Swerve was getting cheered, I'm like, he stood over the baby's crib and cut a promo. What is wrong with you people? You heartless.
Hey man, he gave him a free shirt.
Hangman's a terrible dad. He left his child alone in the house. With nobody in the house. Like, that's not good parenting.
We didn't assume the child was home alone.
There was nobody else in the house.
Yeah, how do you know that?
Maybe Hangman was in the other room listening to this entire monologue on the baby monitor, and he was just giving him time to talk.
This is all getting Henry portrait of a serial killer, this, isn't it? No.
He kind of says a lot about just wrestling fans in general, because the same thing happened when Samoa Joe did this with AJ Styles.
Yeah.
He ended up getting cheered.
Yeah, that's true.
So
God, what was his wife's name? He repeated it a bunch.
Wendy.
Oh,
Wendy! That's it. How did I forget her name? My God. Yeah. Jay, is there any chance Swerve loses this belt?
Not here. I do think this is kind of just giving Swerve something to do till Hangman comes back, though. I think we're probably getting Swerve and Hangman 4 with the title on the line. Probably some kind of gimmick match.
Yeah, I think when you've got the other guys that started the He-Man CM Punk hating club, you need the other guy that also hates CM Punk to come and join them.
They could. I was thinking they could have, like, obviously with Swerve and the Elite having the whole thing, they could have the two teams from Anarchy of the Arena, Swerve with the Team AEW and Hangman with the Elite for Blood and Guts. And then
Hangman because he's a cop. And,
they kicked Hangman out, right? Didn't they kick Hangman out of the Elite?
Yeah,
no, they suspended him because he attacked the referee. They didn't kick him out.
He's going to come back in the Anarchy of the Arena match and help the Elite to win, to buy his way back in again because he's such a cop.
He is.
Shane says, we need more surprises in wrestling. Can you imagine him? But what would be the long game, Shane? What would be the reason for it? Like, besides a shock booking, I hate shock. Shane, not that you're saying this, I personally hate shock booking. Like, I don't look at the Brock Lesnar Goldberg thing as a shock booking. I look at that as like,
press the button.
Like, what you didn't like the Lesnar and Goldberg
garbage button.
Oh, I see. I won't take it easy on Shane's my boy. I won't do that to him.
The button.
But the button is pretty awesome. But like, I never looked at that as being a shock moment. Like Paul Heyman explained that so beautifully. It's like there's only one person in the world who could conceivably do what Goldberg did against Brock, and that's Goldberg. No one else. It just wouldn't. The way they had built Brock didn't make sense. So like, was it a surprise? Sure. Was it? This is ridiculous. BS. Go watch that clip. Everyone in the building, the guys tearing the tickets, were applauding because it worked. But I'm not here for shock booking for the sake of shock booking is what I'm trying to say.
I'm just more surprised that Joe hasn't at all tried to get a rematch for his title. That's been my
weird
whole shift on this feud. I assume that Swerve is going to win this with no problem, because him losing would just be insane. Like, that's some Vince Russo booking if he loses right there.
Is.
Like that's
Joe did sort of explain it on Dynamite this week that he's just kind of like biding his time for the right moment.
He did.
Hear me out.
I forgot.
Hear me out.
Uh-oh.
I've got a theory.
All right. I'm going to get the button ready.
Copeland wins the barbed wire match. Christian struggling against Swerve. Doom, 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 doom. Edge comes out of fire. And then comes the rescue. He's old. And then Gangrel appears on a hang glider.
Push the button, Joe.
Hang glider.
Don't push the button. You saved it.
You saved it with the hang glider comment.
Yeah.
I was going to press the button. You saved it.
I saw that I'd lost you, and I thought,
Got to throw in a hang glider. Aerial acrobats always brings it home.
Can you imagine a world where everybody's like, hey, man, we're going younger. We're building new stars. Hey, Swerve's our champion now. We're going to build this new guy. Don't put the belt on Ospreay. Let's just put it on Christian.
Yeah.
No. Let's put it on 50-year-old Christian. Like, no. What are we doing?
Christian is awesome. But no, you're right. He shouldn't get the belt.
Oh no, he's not going to. But I Phil said I'd like the build of this. In fact, that they went. I'd forgot about the Nick Wayne thing entirely because I've got a memory of a goldfish. But when they went, yeah, we can't forget all this stuff you've done. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not
Christian even
you can't get baptized in the Thames and everything's forgiven.
Right.
Christian even brought up the casket match, and I was like, "That's right. Swerve was technically the guy that lost that match."
Mm-hmm.
One of the best sell jobs of going into a casket ever with his arm and hand hanging out while it was getting stomped on by Darby and Sting, by the way. That was great. Swerve's been awesome. I want to see him do more. And Christian has, I don't know, this is his best run since TNA. As a singles competitor. And I really did. I mean, like, you go back and watch that Christian Kenny Omega match. I know it's been a while. That was a great match. Really good match.
Which got overshadowed. That was the All Out match, and people, of course, talk about the match right before that, and like CM Punk's debut and everything, and then of course Bryan and Cole coming out at the end. But the match itself was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me, Christian's career is Edge and Christian with the TLC, and for me, it's the one more match gimmick that he had with Orton, and now it's this. And I liked his TNA stuff. I don't think it holds a candle to this stuff, my opinion.
No, you're not aware of Christian and night fights.
Knife fights?
Night fights.
Night fights.
Giant dudes in armor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was the host of a show that ran for
show.
one season called Night Fights, and it was dudes in armor wailing on each other with maces. Yep.
Yeah.
I forgot. I used to come on after like Forged and Fired.
Yeah.
Forged and Fired.
Yeah.
I know that. Excellent show.
Yep. For men of a certain age.
But what would really have brought that home is if, with the mace in hand, if they're hang gliding to dive in to hit each other. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but it's a steampunk hang glider.
Yes. Faye says, please don't talk about TNA.
Faye's got PTSD because of a segment we have on our podcast.
Someone in chat did ask earlier about Motor City Machine Guns showing up tonight. Do you think that's a possibility? Tony did say that there would be some surprises with it being the 55th year anniversary.
Could be.
I missed that comment.
I don't think we're going to see them. I assumed we were going to see them at Dynasty. I was surprised we didn't, but when Jack showed up, I was like, well, that's why.
Yeah, you don't want to over-egg the pudding, do you? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see them at Double or Nothing either.
If we did, in what capacity would they show up?
Making the save in this Anarchy match, I would think, if something crazy is going on. That would be the one spot I could see them turn up in. But maybe you save that for down the road.
They could just do like a video package to kind of like hype that they're coming or something, I guess.
I just hope they call the Bucks Generation Me the entire time.
Oh,
100%.
What a horrible name that was! My God.
Reunite Eric Bischoff and
Me.
Matt Hardy just because. One more time.
Why do you do these things, Jay?
One more match. One more match is all I need. Willow Nightingale defending the AEW TBS Championship against Mercedes Moné. Chris, let me start with you this time. Mercedes is winning this, right?
I don't know. I wouldn't take the title off Willow yet. That me personally, that doesn't mean that she's not going to win this, but you do have the angle they built up where she got attacked by someone. I wouldn't do it yet.
Joe, you were what do you got, Joe?
It's Chris Statlander who attacked her.
Ah, there you go.
Because Trent did a poison in her ear. Yeah.
Ah.
That's my theory. I'm with you though. Like, if Mercedes doesn't win this, and I think she's going to because whatever, but it then means that she then has to like fight her way back up the rankings that sometimes matter, sometimes don't. Like, either way, it'll be good, but I kind of don't want to see Willow lose it.
But Mercedes can't lose her first match in the company, right?
It's good storytelling, though. Think about it. Like,
Why not? Why can't she?
she's come in all big bravado. She's got a terrible theme song that everyone loves.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Have a terrible
it's
heel
bad.
meltdown, like a terrible, like a Bret Hart destroy the ringside area meltdown when she doesn't win. That might work.
I mean, the only other way you get out of that is to me, because you wanted to keep Willow looking strong, you have to do a full heel turn with Mercedes and put someone, whether, like we were talking about earlier, whether it is Statlander or, I don't know. But yeah, that's it. To me, that's it. This is a weird, just to make this a title match right off the bat, especially with Willow just winning the title. She flips the belt. It doesn't really mean anything, which is unfortunate.
Also, Mercedes works better as a heel.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
They do this thing where I can tell when a champion is going to drop the belt because they start doing all these title defenses. Like the second they did that title defense at Stardom and she won a match, I was like, Willow's losing. Because that's kind of what they do. They stack up the title defenses for somebody to make their title reign feel like something. And so, like I said, the second she had that title defense a week before the pay-per-view, I was like, yeah, she's losing. And so I just don't see a world where Mercedes loses her first match with the company. I just don't see that happening.
No.
And then on top of that, I do think Mercedes is going to turn heel. I think Statlander's possibly turning heel as well. I've had the long-running theory that nobody actually attacked Mercedes. It's all been a lie. I think she's pulling a Jussie Smollett on us. Nobody attacked her. I think this is all a big lie, and I think she's going to turn heel.
That would explain some of the selling that was happening after that
The camera
brutal
work.
attack.
Yeah.
I think this has all been a big hoax.
Jay, I've seen this, the Mercedes run in AEW so far been described as a WWE character. And then when I read that, I thought, wow, she kind of is. Like, she's obviously rehearsed. She's obviously doing that weird standing with backstage where the camera's here, but you have to see her body, and she's looking at the monitor. And I'm like, no one stands this way. So it almost feels like she's playing into that. Is that what we see going on, Jay?
I think so to a degree. I think it might just be like part of it could just be it's what Mercedes is comfortable with. Obviously, they brought in that writer she had in WWE who is working quite closely with her, from what I understand, and stuff like that. I think it's just it definitely like lends itself to Mercedes turning heel, though, for sure. Like that she's like it kind of reminds me in a weird way like Bobby Roode when he went to NXT and he was like, I'm gonna completely change the image of what people perceive NXT to be, and I feel like that's what Mercedes could do with the women's division by coming in. I'm the megastar. I'm gonna make everyone wrestle like me and everyone kind of like be part of my vision, sort of thing. I do think it's too early to take the belt off Willow, and I think when you're saying about shot booking, I think the one thing that could be a really good shot booking thing here would be Willow retaining and then Mercedes turning heel, because it does leave you with a lot more compelling kind of story like avenues to go down with like how Mercedes bounces back from that and how Mercedes handles that. I think we're all in agreement like Mercedes should be probably turning heel here. That would be a good way to kind of do it, and then have it like cheat to beat Willow in the rematch.
Yeah, I will say I think that this has done a lot of goodwill for Willow. I think having her on TV more has helped her a lot. I think her promos have been exceptional. That one-liner she did during the contract signing was fantastic. And I think just as a character, she's come off looking a lot better. The other kind of telltale sign of I think she's going to lose here is if you guys have noticed with the TBS title, every woman that has won that belt is a homegrown talent. Jade Cargill,
Julia Hart.
Chris Statlander, Julia Hart, Willow Nightingale, all homegrowns. And I think that's the point that Willow was trying to make during the contract signing of, hey, this belt means something to us here because we have to work to get here. You come here and you just jump to the front of the line and you think you could just take this belt. And I think that is why she's going to win. Because, again, I think it's a heel turn. I think also her putting over her accomplishments somewhere else. We saw how the crowd turned on Saraya when she did that to Britt Baker. I think all of this is intentional. I think it's all a heel turn.
crowd just turned on to Ray. She's awful.
But I mean, specifically in that promo with Britt, and she was like,
"Don't worry."
Yeah, super. I'm a bigger star than you. The crowd like immediately booed her because the AEW crowd is loyal to their people. They're loyal to homegrowns, and so I think that's part of what Mercedes is doing here that's working. Because I think it was Dave Meltzer where he was saying that this isn't working because the crowd doesn't like her. They're booing her, but I'm like, this is clearly intentional though. Like you not see like certain things they're doing. They're giving the crowd a reason to boo her.
I think it's intentional now. I don't think it was intentional to start out. Like they definitely, with the way that they did her theme music and everything, it definitely was intended for her to be a big over baby face coming in. It just the cards didn't fall that way. I think they did a good job of shifting to where they were going, but I wouldn't say that's when they brought her in. They thought that she was going to just be a heel right off the bat.
Learning tree.
Oh wow! Brought it full circle.
What I will say about like people kind of crapping on Mercedes Monet's promo so far, I would go back and watch Sasha Banks. She's never been like a 5-star promo or anything. Like that's not where she shines is in the ring, which is why maybe I would have brought her instead of just doing it because it was Boston, saved it closer to this pay-per-view. So you didn't just have like 2 months of her doing nothing, basically.
I get you that, yeah. Has anyone ever done a graph of contract signings and the person who gets put through the table and if they win or not?
Yeah.
Good question.
If not, someone working. Jeffrey's probably done it.
Jeffrey, get on that.
Yeah.
Who got put through the table in the Cody? Oh, that's right. It was one of Logan's minions. It wasn't actually Logan Paul.
Oh yeah, it was Buttons. I think he was
one of those guys wearing the prime shirts.
Binky John, I think he was called.
Yeah.
It wasn't Captain Onions, was it?
Hey, he's got layers.
I love that. Oh, he's got layers. Oh God, I love it. Are you kidding me?
But
this is terrible. This is Shrek work. This people.
Yeah. I mean, I think the idea of a triple main event is nonsense. There's only one main event, but I will say that they have done a great job of making this match feel like a big deal. It feels like one of the better stories going into this pay-per-view. And honestly, I don't know what they have planned for the Anarchy in the Arena match. I think the women should go on last. I think if you want to make the point that this company has moved forward in 5 years, give the women the main event. This is the chance to do it. You have a big enough star. You have a good storyline. Give them the main event.
Yep. Oh, 100%. It's one of those where whichever way it goes makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
I mean, I almost assume that they're going to do Swerve and Christian last because that's the format they always go with the heavyweight title.
Yeah, I feel like
Anarchy in the Arena closed 2 years ago.
Did they? Yeah, you're right because that was the Pillars match.
Eddie Kingston was setting people on fire. And
they
demolished the ring, didn't they? Yeah.
And that was again. They tried to do the double main event thing, which just
overbooking.
This company continues to have an embarrassment of riches of Mox and Takeshita could. I mean, look, Mox and Takeshita could go on last. There's a lot of good matches here. Like, embarrassment of riches, guys, that they have this much talent. They're not going, well, there's only one main event here. Like, there's a lot of good matches here. Man.
We've got 2 more matches at least tonight.
Do you
think so?
I mean, do you put Willow and Mercedes on last, or do you protect that match just because Mercedes might have some ring rust?
I think you put it on last, and again, I think it's because Mercedes is gonna win. I think. I think if you put that match on, because I think the least of their worries right now is that she's not going to deliver in the ring. I would be more worried about like these segments not doing well or her promos not doing well, because, like you said, there's history here with her as a promo, either in WWE. Some of that New Japan stuff she was doing didn't always hit, but the matches that she was having in New Japan in Stardom were great.
Real, yeah. I will say of the women on this card, she's the one that when she cuts a promo, she is obviously doing a character. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it does not feel like her. This is not Dusty. In other words, it's a big measuring stick. I get it, but like Dusty felt like I don't know how Virgil Runnels really sounded. I don't know if he sounded differently, but God, that felt like a real person. Mercedes feels like a character to me.
Apparently, that was his real voice.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean, like personality-wise.
No, but the one thing I believe is that Dusty wore his heart on his sleeve like that.
Yeah.
Hard times. Yeah.
Hard times. It's in the song. It's in my opening song now. Let's do a quick open floor so these guys in England can go to bed, kids.
GCW's on in 7 minutes. It's fine.
There you go. We got 7 minutes of an open floor. Sugar Shane says, "Why has AEW failed Miro?"
He's got a neck made of sand. Move on.
Yeah.
Well, no.
No, for me.
He's saying he's not hurt, and he's going through a divorce right now. It's more of just why you sign his wife and then go down the same rabbit hole WWE went down. Kind of did not help him at all.
I think I hate to say this because I really like Miro, but if you keep having certain issues with certain people and they're very similar every time, maybe it's not the company, maybe it's them. I mean, you had something good going when you first brought him in, and it went nowhere. You had something hot with Hobbs in that meat match. You could have easily did a rematch and did something else with them, and you didn't. Maybe at some point it's that this guy thinks that he's too good to put certain people over. I don't know, man.
AEW also has a hard time just booking like Haas characters like Miro in general. Like if you watch Hobbs or just any of the big guys, like even Big Bill, they have a hard time keeping a character like a big, strong Haas character strong.
Yeah. And I mean, even with the Lana thing, I am more inclined to believe that he campaigned to bring Lana in because he was trying to have her in the company with him and save his marriage than I am that Tony Khan all of a sudden was like, you know what we need? Lana.
I love Lana. She came in and did now. Like,
yeah.
There was some kind of Mexican intrigue, and that was all I remember. Yeah.
That we had two good wrestlers tied into that thing. That was, if you guys remember, the last thing Andrade did with the company.
Mate, that was a terrible match. It was like two men fighting in molasses. Yeah. It was awful.
That was the World's End match, was it not?
Yeah.
What a terrible weekend for the company. Because that happened, and then right after the show, we found out that Andrade was gone.
Good.
I mean, the match was kind of gone as far as I could tell. I mean, with the way
should have been wearing scuba gear. It was terrible.
Now the match he had before that, didn't he go against Dustin? The match before that, he had a really good match right before that.
Andrade?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what match it was.
He had a good run in the Continental Classic as well. His matches in that tournament were great, but
the match against Miro felt like neither one of them wanted to be there.
I mean, there's probably some truth to that, honestly.
Yeah, well, we found out one of them was, but it just felt like, oh, Christ, two men stuck on flypaper. It was,
I can't comment on Lana too much. She's had me blocked for years on Twitter, so I don't know what she's doing anymore. So,
hopefully she's doing well. She had that finger injury for a while.
I didn't know
that was gnarly. Like that double staph infection surgery. They thought they're going to have to amputate her finger. So hopefully she is doing well. I mean, they're going through a divorce right now. So as well as you can do with that, I know that Miro is back in Bulgaria was the last thing I heard, and that they were going through divorce proceedings.
Yeah.
Just driving around Bulgaria in his sex tank.
Yeah,
sex tank. Oh, wonderful.
I don't know if we answered your question, Shane, but I don't think it's so much that they failed him. I think it's more complicated. I think it's more complicated than people think.
His run as was it the Godslayer thing? That was great.
The Redeemer was fantastic.
Redeemer, yeah. Sorry, the Godslayer. But yeah, that was great. Like the stuff with Kip Sabian, that was like daft. But Arcade Anarchy, that was a good bunch of daft nonsense.
I had completely forgot about that whole best man thing. And Yeah.
They
We got
had Billy Mitchell.
Statlander. We got Statlander popping out of the claw machine. That was pretty.
Yeah, we had Billy
That was
Mitchell on
good.
a stag do. Like, what's not to love about this?
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. But yeah, his run as a Redeemer was great.
Yeah, it
but
was.
Hey,
And
well, it's just to point out, hey, that was going well, and he was happy because he was beating everybody and he was winning.
sometimes you got to look at the lights, brother.
Yeah.
Doesn't work for me, brother.
I mean, there's
Now back to the sex tank.
There's also
Love it.
something to be said that, Miro should be beating a ton of people in general up until he gets to a title shot and there's someone built up that should beat him. And if you look around that landscape, that's what I was saying. They don't do a good job of building like monster strongmen at all. So
Wardlow,
if he doesn't want to take a loss, it would make a lot of sense of why he would not want to take a loss in some of that situation, just looking around the landscape.
They do tend to heat up the big guys and then cool them down really fast. You're right.
but-
They've done it with Hobbs like 3 times now.
And that's what I was about to get to. I understand for him to be beating certain guys, and he should be protected in some ways, but they should have done a rematch to that Hobbs match, and I do think that Hobbs should have beat him. I think that even if you were going to give him the win the first time at the pay-per-view, as hot as that match was, why not go back to it, give Hobbs the win?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Fair.
It's one of the AEW problems is that they do stuff, and then if it doesn't immediately catch fire, they go spin it off. Right?
Yeah.
But see, that was the thing. That was hot. It was so hot that they went and they were about to do a gauntlet match based off of the gimmick because the chant got over. But that's why I was like, I think the issue wasn't so much.
John Silver should have won that gauntlet match if he ever did it.
Yeah, but I don't think it was so much that they didn't want to play off of it. I don't think that he wanted to do it.
Well, I hope he's happy.
We'll never know.
Fight on the tank.
You will never really know where the Miro stuff was going to go because that was Punk's Collision. So when they brought him back before he left forever, so we could be in another space-time continuum,
The
might be
darkest
something
timeline.
completely different.
But I don't want to keep laying the breadcrumbs. But what do all of the people that were on Collision initially have in common? They were all people that were troublemakers.
Oh my God.
Wheels within wheels. My mind's blown.
Heels within heels.
Oh, that's even better. It's right there.
It's a heel wearing heels. Yeah. Holy crap. That was really good. That's up there with Captain Onions for me. That was awesome. So I'm serious. I loved it. Let's go around the horn before we take this thing home. Phil, let's start with you. Thunder Rosa versus Peraza. Who you got?
I think that Deanna's gonna win here. If I remember correctly, Thunder Rosa won the first match, did she not?
Yes.
I think that Deanna's gonna win here to even it, and we're gonna get another match.
Joe, what do you think?
Same thing. Yeah. It needs
Jay?
a third.
Yeah, Deanna.
Okay, Chris.
Thunder Rosa, it's a pre-show match. Make the fans happy, lead into the pay-per-view.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to go with Chris on this. Heck with y'all.
Boo. Boo these people.
Fight the power. Copeland versus Malachi. This is not going to be easy for me. I'll start. Chris, I will say I kind of like to see this thing keep going. I'll say Malachi wins, Chris. What do you think?
I think Malachi makes a lot of sense. It's going to be fun to see what they do with Adam Copeland if they go that route.
Jay?
Yeah, Malachi for me.
Joe?
On my accumulator, I've got Malachi Black to win this, just because I'm kind of bored of Copeland's slightly too long matches he's been having. Just slightly too long.
What do you think, Phil?
Guess I'm the only person here that thinks Cope is winning. I think Cope is going to win.
It feeds back to Chris's thing, though. Like, I have a feeling the lights will go out, and then, boom, all of House of Black are in the ring.
Gangrel on a hang glider.
Gangrel on a zip line that's on fire. Yeah,
It's on fire with a mace.
yeah. See,
Yeah, I think Copeland's going to win, but I also think that there's something to the fact that Christian has like tied himself to the elite, and the Elite were the ones that introduced him to the Swerve match. The fact that he came backstage afterwards and was like, hey, I think we've got a long story going here. I think this is leading to Cope and Christian eventually teaming up to face the EVPs in the tag match.
Yo,
Ooh.
that's the end game. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
think we're a ways out from that yet. And also,
Yeah.
Malachi Black needs a win because God bless him.
Yeah.
I think that's why we're starting this whole idea of moving him to the darker side and why they're doing stuff with Malachi. Because the guy that's going to pull him away from the dark side is Christian Cage.
But Christians are. Oh, okay.
You could make the
Christian's a
argument
bad
either
man.
way for the same story though, because Malachi could just beat him and immediately he's dark. He's part of House of Black, right? So
Mm.
He
I
does
get
a
what
sick
you're
on his wedding
saying.
ring.
I get what you're saying.
Right.
It makes sense.
But yeah. But you're right.
Close.
Christian is a heel. But again, his closest friend in the world would be the only one that can pull him away.
I want to find out that Malachi pawned the ring for a hang glider. That's what I want to think.
He's not. He's going to pull it out and do a sick on it, and then like
Oh, gross.
no, a black sick,
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine then.
not an actual sick. That would be disgusting.
That would be disgusting.
He's
All right.
He's
Yeah.
gonna.
And then Beth Phoenix bungee drops into the ring to
Yes.
snatch the ring out of him just before he does a sick on it.
Don't you
Like
be
that's-
spitting on my ring.
Jay, we need to get back on that wrestling booking.
Oh, we
thing.
absolutely
We've
do.
got ideas now.
Oh my
We've got
God.
so many ideas.
Phil, Roddy
So
versus
much
Osprey.
Osprey. There's no way.
Osprey. It's Osprey.
Jay,
Yeah, it's Bill the Ostrich.
Chris.
It's Osprey.
There you go. Same. Trent Beretta versus Cassidy. Chris.
Orange Cassidy with some kind of weirdness with Don Callis family.
Jay.
Trent.
Ooh. Joe.
Trent murders him to death.
Ooh. Phil.
It's tough because I'm not sure if they're going to keep this going. And Trent won the first match via
Orange.
dusty finish.
The Orange won it. He took the turnbuckle off, didn't he? And
Wasn't it DQ though?
no, ref didn't see it. Again. Why are you asking me?
It's 1 in the morning for them. I'm just
It's
saying.
not that. I mean, Tom, I don't know where I was yesterday.
I'm pretty sure Trent won that match. But
heck.
regardless, I'm gonna go with Orange.
I'll say Trent. I agree with, I think Joe said it, or maybe Jay said it. Trent goes over. It's death by murder against Orange Cassidy. I'm just saying.
That's what Orange to go home and have a lie down for a bit.
Yeah.
Never. That's the guy, by the way, that has had all these wins, and eventually he's got to get his world title match. Like,
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
but that's
it's got to
slow
happen
build.
at some point.
That's the slowest build.
We've established rankings don't matter here.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I swear to God,
Well,
right?
sometimes.
Orange disappears, right? Orange disappears. He loses. He comes back, and he's not wearing socks.
That's how you'll know.
That's how we know. That's the giveaway. Oh, that'd be great. Anyway,
That's the giveaway.
that's the giveaway.
It's the socks
Don
on the
Callis
pole match.
giveaway. Yeah.
It's the socks on the pole match. I'm saying.
Alice, just you with the family. Give me all your socks.
Somewhere Vince Russo just got really excited at the socks on the pole match. Phil, Bang Bang Gang versus Death Triangle.
I believe I'm going to go with the BBG, Bang Bang Gang.
It's
Joe.
not for the belt. It's not for the belts, though, is it? It's just
No.
Death Triangle.
It isn't?
No, not for the belts.
I thought it's for the belts.
I thought it was for the unified belts.
It's just trios match. Well, it says just trios match, but
On my notes here, it just says trios. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I've not watched Rampage yet, so I don't know. But if it's for the anyway, my point remains the same. Death Triangle always.
yeah, it just says trios match. What do you think, Jay?
Bang Bang Gang.
Yep. Chris?
These belts don't matter. I'm going to go with Death Triangle.
And ownership of the little cart to drag them around as well.
The cart's
Plus,
great.
Robinson.
I have too many to carry. I've got a cart now. Yeah, I'll go with that. Chris. Well, all right, Chris, I'm throwing it to you, but it's Chris Jericho versus Hook. What you got?
And
Versus-
Shibata.
And Shibata.
Shibata. Why not? That'd at least be entertaining.
What do you think, Jay?
Jericho.
Joe. Yeah.
I'm going to flip a coin and hope it explodes and kills me somehow. Jericho's
coin.
winning it, isn't he? Like he's
Yes.
going to run this thing into the ground.
Yes.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Jericho's definitely winning here.
Yeah, I would say. Mox versus Takeshita. Phil, it's got to be Mox, right?
Yes.
Joe?
I think Takeshita.
Ooh. Jay?
I also think Takeshita.
Oh. Chris?
Moxley, just because of the Japanese politics.
Yeah.
I'm the
and
tiebreaker. How about that?
that and you really think they're gonna have the IWGP champion lose on a pay-per-view before Forbidden Door? I don't do that.
And
I
six.
say Mox.
You just don't believe in my sexy boy Takeshita. That's fine.
I'm saying.
Hey man, I do. The guy, they keep reminding us that he beat Kenny Omega, but that didn't go anywhere. So,
No, because see what Don Callis has been doing. He's been hypnotically training Takeshita to imagine John Moxley as a huge Cinnabon.
Yeah.
what a weird time period. Ibushi was on TV. All these things that we just forgot happened.
Yeah. I'm going to break the tie and say Mox goes over.
A bush on his little bike. I
Yes.
forgot about that.
So is Ibushi is like really like he messed up both ankles.
Really
right? So he's
injured.
gonna be
Oh, he's
gone for
broken,
2 years.
He's out for a while. He looked awful in that Noah match. I was like, please just take some time off, man.
Yeah. Hopefully he can get back to a semblance of what he was before, because I like Kota Ibushi a lot.
I mean, he and Naito tried to kill each other for 2 years. I mean, did all they could to kill each other,
Yeah, you would think it would be the neck going, not his both of his ankles and legs.
Yeah.
See, that's the Japanese problem. They focus on the neck strong. Bottom end of the body, nothing there. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing there. No socks. There's no socks. I'm just saying. Let's see. Phil, Tony Storm versus Deeb.
Tony time. There's no way
Tony.
he's winning this.
Joe.
Tony.
Jay.
Tony.
All right, Chris.
Tony.
There you go.
I'd like to
Tony.
see Tony win clean, actually.
Of course. Ooh, yeah, could be. So Chris, Elite versus Team AEW.
I mean the Elite.
Jay?
The Elite.
Yeah, Joe.
The Elite Hangman comes back to help.
Ooh, Phil.
Yeah, Elite.
There you go. I will say Elite as well. Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage. Phil, going with Swerve?
Still Swerve's house.
Still Swerve's house. Joe.
Anyone that doesn't say Swerve is a Tory.
Oh, God. I'm not doing that. Jay.
Swerve.
Chris.
Swerve.
There you go. And since I'm not a Tory, I agree with Swerve. So, Chris, back around, starting with you. Willow versus Mercedes.
I think it's the wrong decision, but Mercedes.
Jay?
Yeah, Mercedes.
Joe?
This is the one I really struggled with, and I think they're going to give it Mercedes.
Phil, you're saying Mercedes, yeah?
CEO.
I mean, I think in my
You got
heart
paid
of
for
hearts.
licensing now.
Oh, I know, right? Don't sing it too much. In my heart of hearts, I would think Mercedes would be down to do business with whatever would be the best idea. And like, I kind of really like the idea of Mercedes not winning and pitching the biggest fit like a toddler. And just, this was supposed to be about me. You're all here for me. This is supposed to be my night. And just, but if the point of that is just to get her over as a heel, is it worth it? If the point was to get Willow even more over as a face, okay. But I don't think the point of this is Willow. All due respect to Willow, I think the point of this is Mercedes.
No, I think this is the rematch because Willow won the first time, and I think Mercedes is gonna win here. Listen, man, we've been waiting. Just put the belt on her, shoot her to the moon. Put more belts on her. Just come on, put 5 belts on her. Just come on, strap the rocket to her.
If we care,
Someone text Tony Khan. They're gonna need another little cart to carry the belts with.
Just do another tournament.
Because look, man, she's definitely Stephanie Vaquer has been calling her out. I definitely think she's going to challenge for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. They created that belt for her. There's no way she's not going to go for that belt.
No, I know, but that was like just bad luck, wasn't it? Like, but again, it is literally one of those. It's the only kind of match on the card that I'd be happy either way it goes.
I mean, if we care anything about extracurricular outside of the company, Mercedes is the one to go over here, Chris, right? Because like she does have name recognition. She's got gigs outside of this. She does have a presence in mainstream. Yeah.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. When you say gigs outside of this, you just mean like TV, film, modeling, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Going back, because I was gonna say, if I'm paying Mercedes Moné, have her doing matches and Stardom, etc.
Yeah. I have to assume if their report of how much she's getting paid and her being in a triple main event, you making such a big deal out of her first match, I would not imagine she's gonna lose.
What's the reports of what she's making? Do we know?
I don't know, but remember that was like the big debate of how much she was making.
$100 billion.
And is she the highest paid woman in wrestling? Again, you if that's the case, and she does this big interview yesterday where she says she's the best women's wrestler of all time, I just don't see her going into this weekend and losing. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Nah, but that's the bait and switch.
Switch.
You would think so, but I don't.
Again, this is the only one of the card that I think could go either way, and it would make sense for both of them. Like
I do too, actually.
It's great.
That's putting a lot of faith in AEW. I don't know, doing some really great storytelling. If they go with that idea of Willow winning, and then the pitch of fit, they haven't done a whole lot of that.
Yeah, I do think Statlander is going to turn. I'm not sure if I believe that Mercedes is going to win this clean or not, but I do think regardless if she wins clean or not, that Statlander is going to turn on Willow.
Yeah. Which is weird because didn't Julia Hart do a sick on Willow?
Yeah,
a black sick, an evil sick.
An evil sick, not a sick.
She's so positive that she managed to fight it off, so that's good.
Yeah, it's the power of positivity. Who had that? Who was that gimmick? Was that?
A certain guy that is in the news for some other stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say you might want to avoid that.
Oh. I'm clearly forgot who the gimmick belonged to.
Although I was outside my wrestling yesterday.
Voice like this.
Women wrestlers tend to get paid more than men wrestlers because there's less of them, and you have to have one on a show.
Really? Who said this?
I was talking to some people. Again, this was in like Bolton, but like the promotion near my house. But he says that women wrestlers there get paid more because there's less of them.
Yeah.
And so they have to come from further away. Like at the moment, that promotion there is one woman on the roster who is the champion.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad. Oh, it's bad. Yeah.
I was always told we never booked any little people for matches, but I was always told that they are not cheap because it's more of a novelty show than anything else. And there's not there's a lot of promotions with little people in any given area at any given time. So you're going to pay a lot to book those guys, but they usually tend to fill the house up.
What you should have done is just provide everyone with reverse binoculars, and everyone's a little person.
Well, there you go.
That's why you couldn't believe this big brain thinking.
Well, it's 1 a.m. in England, 1:17, and it's 8:17 here, and it's 7:17 where Phil is. So depending on where you are in the world, we're going to call it a night and say good evening to you. Phil, let's start. Let's go around the horn with you. Tell the world where they can find you on the social media.
You can find me at Phil at PhilDL616 on Twitter. You can find me podcasting on Saturdays at noon Eastern Time with Righteous Reg hosting Grapsody. Believe we do every other week on the Patreon gimmick.
Nice. Shane just said Tanahashi's on Collision right now. We got to hurry up and go watch Collision. Yeah, Joe, where can everybody find you?
Down the docks most nights. Find me on Twitter at Hallmark of Greatness, or if you want wrestling stuff, Dammit Vacant. It used to be Dammit Vince, but we changed it because Vince is a massive pervert. Move on.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Might need a little rebrand. It's all right.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a
I've
little
got
rebrand.
loads of stickers here that I cannot get rid of.
Jay, what you got, man?
I am part of the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. You can find us over on Twitter, Untitled Rest Pod. We do mainly a monthly podcast, and we drop some other stuff. We actually dropped a retro review of the first Double or Nothing this week, so listen to that before you watch Double or Nothing tomorrow.
Nice. Chris, let's end up with you, my friend.
Yeah, it's at Chris R. Patton on Twitter, Christopher.R.Patton on Facebook and Instagram. And we do a wrestling podcast as well. It's Wrestling Geeks Alliance. Anywhere you can find Tom's podcast, you can find our podcast.
Oh, that's you.
Yeah. That's him.
I never put the two together. I'm such an idiot.
So, yeah, we're going to call it a night. Guys, thanks so much. Everybody hang out for a sec. Thank you guys so much for coming back for the comeback show of the main event. I appreciate all you guys very much. And we will be recording together soon. So, guys, thanks for everything. I appreciate you. All right. Everybody's going away. And I went away too. See that? That's what happens. All right, there we are. Well, kids, here I am looking like, again, I'm suntanned all to the world and back. Look, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. Thanks very much for being here for the big comeback show. It's only been a month of Sunday since I was here. Jeffrey's saying, please don't be gone another 3 months. You have my word. You have my word, Jeffrey. I will be back. Right now, the time slot for the main event will be 6:05 on Saturdays, Eastern time, of course. If that changes, and it may, I will let everybody know. Hopefully you guys have been checking out the promos leading up to this show. You know, I went with a very post-apocalyptic feel, like we didn't pay the bills and they were cutting the cable off. So go back and look at the promos and the teasers if you want to. If you saw them, thank you very much. And again, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it very much. You guys have been the best. Thanks again for being patient with me. And trust me, kids, when I tell you, we'll be back again very, very soon. In fact, a week from today. Don't miss us. 6:05 here on the Facebook. Thanks again, everybody, for everything. Have a great night, folks. Enjoy the show tomorrow, and we will see you next week, kids.